It's a beautiful morning here, and check out the new additions to the collection. I'm really excited to go through some of these and share them with you, and I'm even more excited that we have some supporters of our channel that are so kind they give us things like this. So wow, I have a lot of gratitude and a lot of excitement, so let me go show you what we have. So the four of those are Peruvian apple cacti, which I find interesting because some have longer spines than others. I'm still looking for the truly spineless one. I've seen it before. And then on the left here is the Acanthocereus chick hybrids. They make really beautiful flowers. And now these, the Selenicereus that's red just needs to be re-rooted. But there's a Selenicereus vagans, a Selenicereus donkellarii. I can't remember offhand. This one could be Selenicereus spindulosus. And then this one I'm really excited about. It kind of looked like a bunch of turtle heads. And this is Selenicereus testudo. So really stunning variety of Selenicereus. I'm excited to see a flower in the future. Now here's that red one. You can see it needed to be re-rooted. And over here are some Pilosocereus costarricensis. So now I have that variety added to my collection. And let's go check out these now. So this is an unknown variety. It's very beautiful. If you could give me a hint in the comments, or a lead I guess would be better. Let me know. It's rather petite. Now one of these two is native to the Coronado Island, or islands, and into Baja. I can't remember which one. I want to say the one on the left. And this one's just really spiny, but really beautiful and colorful. And then here is a Puntia violacea. Really like the color. A violet color. The spines are larger than I thought it would be too. So Puntia violacea. So this is a really beautiful blue colored cactus. I'm really excited about this one. And if I remember right, I had two names, and he called this one a Pilosocereus Emoryi, I want to say. I called it an old man cactus, but he said there's several old men cactus, so I need to know the proper name for this one. It's really beautiful. And this one is a bluish tint as well. And I have the name written down, but I cannot remember it offhand, I'm sorry. I think it had Azure in the name. So you can see it's very blue up top here, and the new growth is really stunning. And then over there, these two, the one on the left is unknown, and the one on the right, he had a huge collection of a cluster, and it was probably my favorite cacti he had in the yard, and it is a Stenocereus hybrid, if I remember correctly. And then yesterday, I went to my friend's dragon fruit farm and collected some beautiful cuttings here, and some fruit as well. So you can see that these cuttings are rather large, and they're just basically American Beauty, Maria Rosa, Sugar Dragon, and some unknown ones I'm really excited about. So there you go. Give us a like and a subscribe. We'll keep you updated on these in the future. And wow, I sure do like all of these beautiful, beautiful plants. Sal is so awesome. He said that I could have a piece of his Peruvian apple cactus. Now, this is one of the tallest cactus in the world, or cacti in the world, native to, I believe, Peru. Very, very spiny. They also call this the pitaya cactus. It does have a pitaya fruit, you can see, and you can actually use the pollen on dragon fruit. So this beast just gets gigantic, and again, it can be one of the tallest cacti in the world.
Yeah, this one's huge.
Yeah, this guy is really tall. I'd say probably approaching over 20 feet for sure. And I had to be really selective about how to cut it. So I was gonna try to use a towel to catch it, but I think in this case, I'm just gonna let it fall and then wrap it up.
It's probably,
so this is probably like a 4-foot cutting. So here we go, let's see how it goes. And hopefully we won't get any spinies on us. There we go. Woo! So these are pretty heavy. I'd estimate this thing, let's see how heavy it is.
It's gotta be like 30 pounds.
Man, I'm afraid of this thing. Ugh. But it did get a little damage when it hit the rock, but that's my fault. It's gonna be fine. It's not as heavy as I thought, Scott. I'd probably say about 15 pounds, maybe.
It's definitely awkward.
So it's gonna be fun to carry this home and get it in the trunk, but now I have a piece of Peruvian apple cactus. So there you go. Good morning and thanks for checking out the Bergerocactus. Well, it's actually Bergerocactus Emoryi is the name, or the golden spined cirrus. As you can see, it's very beautiful and golden spines. It's also known as the snake cactus, maybe because it kind of looks like a snake's head, or maybe probably because rattlesnakes and stuff like to hang out by them. But anyways, they are native to California and Baja. So this plant will grow in San Diego and Baja, and even on the Coronado Islands, which are a few miles, maybe a dozen miles or so, off of the coast of Southern California and into Mexico. So very unique. I'm lucky a collector gave this to me. Never seen it for sale. And you can see the beautiful yellow flowers. Now, I don't know if the pollen is gonna ever work on dragon fruit. I doubt it, but that's something I'm interested in. Now, in addition, I'm interested in trying to find this plant as well. And you can see that this is called the sour pitaya. Now, this actually helped sailors a long time ago prevent scurvy. So that is on my wish list. I would love to have this variety of sour pitaya to try it out. But I can't complain with this beautiful Bergerocactus Emoryi. Now it's really stunning. It will grow. I'll show you some of the older growth now. It will grow 3.5 feet tall and 5 feet wide in time. It's very, very, very spiny. As you can see, you don't want to mess with this thing. And it definitely likes some shade if you live inland like me. In other words, this plant only grows 3 miles inland, native in its habitat. So I live about 13 miles inland, so I'm going to need to give this some afternoon shade and protect it, kind of like dragon fruit. So I'm gonna treat it. It is hardy down to zone 9B. And they say it will survive down to about 25 degrees. So the new growth especially is really beautiful in my opinion. And as you can see, by the way, it can be grown in pots, but I'm gonna plant this in native soil. I'm gonna find the perfect spot for it and plant it into the ground so it gets some afternoon shade. I really think this is a beautiful, stunning, and spiny cactus. It does like good drainage, and it grows well in sandy or loomy soil. Beautiful colors, and bonus points for being a California native plant. Southern California, I guess you could say, and into Baja. All right, let me zoom out for you and show you its full glory. There you go. Good morning, this is Paul, and I know I should be wearing gloves, but check out what my buddy sent me. Now this is Acanthocereus tetragonus. Common name is triangle cactus, fairy tale cactus, or sword pear. Now, if you look online for the fruit, you're gonna see a lot of variation about color. It does have spines on it, but I think it might be this orange enigma pitaya. So we'll see in time. And here's another cutting. Look at this. It's actually, this one is 4-sided. So really beautiful variety, and this grows from Florida into Texas, Mexico, and all the way down into Central America. And it's often used as actually a natural fencing. So to create fencing, I mean, some even call it the barbed wire cactus, I think I read online. So believe it or not, look at how tall this thing can get. It can get 23 feet tall in time, and it has really, really large stems, as you can see. So what I'm curious about with this variety is how much sun it will tolerate in our climate in Southern California, zone 9B. Now, notice these lengths of these spines can be over 1.25 inches. So really, really a plant that you need to be respectful of, in my opinion. Now, to root them, it looks like he's already put some rooting hormone on it, which is great. I look really happy. And I'm gonna put him into this location here, where I call this my little winter propagation station. So I use coconut coir with all parts of it, the pith and the husk, and a grow light and mycorrhizing fungi. So there's this rooting hormone I'm trying out, you can see it, and hopefully I can give you an update soon. I'll tell you what, in the last week I have noticed no rot, and it's doing great. So anyways, back to this plant here. It's a really, really beautiful, interesting cacti that I can't wait to see what happens. So give us a like and a subscribe, and we'll let you know what happens with our wonderful, wonderful plants here. All right, thanks so much for watching. We appreciate your time. Have a wonderful day. Beautiful evening here, and tonight it's about 10:30 p.m. and you're looking at our Selenicereus validus. It's also known as the moonlight cactus or the snake cactus. Now, it smells a lot like our princess of the night, but this one smells a little bit different. It smells kind of more like mild chocolate. So I'm gonna harvest this pollen here to cross-pollinate, possibly in the future. We have another Selenicereus, the 100 moon torch, that may bloom still this season, but it has a lot of growth on it right now. But this beautiful plant is native to Mexico and Central America, and it has plenty of pollen. Now, it does require a cross-pollination, so I'm going to use what I took last night from the Princess of the Night, and this is a different paintbrush. I'm going to make sure I get plenty on it. There we go. And just pollinate this. Now, I just forced that open, so it's a little early, I guess, but this should still work. So now that I've cross-pollinated this, it should set fruit, and I can give it a try. Whoa, sorry, buddy. There. Okay, the deed is done. So we'll check this cactus out more in the morning, but I have a feeling that it's going to be fully closed like the Princess of the Night was. It seems like the Selenicereus closes much earlier than the Pilosocereus. So I'll try to get up a little earlier for you tomorrow, and hopefully we can still catch it. All right. Here it is. It's still very fragrant, and the ants are pretty stoked on it. And look at this. This is what a flower bud looks like. So it'll start out as a strange little cotton ball, and then it will turn into this. This is about 2 or 3 more days to go. The last few days it grows very, very quickly. Also, look at these spines, and be aware that you can grab it with your fingers, but I've gotten it a few times under my fingernails, and wow, it does not feel good. So this little Selenicereus is a master at getting under your fingernails, in my experience. Also, the soil, they tend to prefer more acidic soil, pH of 5 to 6. So I added a little extra perlite, Fox Farm soil, worm castings, and some peat moss, because that will bring the acidity down a little, the pH down a little. And they seem very, very happy with it. So not much at all. It's about 75% Fox Farm soil, and it's doing great. So again, these plants are hardy from zones 9B where I live. They say 10A, but to 11B. So they really need that warm weather to root. It's about 10 o'clock, and this gorgeous epiphyllum HOOKER'S has opened up and bloomed. So I'm gonna go ahead and pollinate it with some Laverne Red dragon fruit here that I've saved. It's a couple weeks old. So here we go. So simple as that. And we'll see what happens. Now it will produce a fruit that is edible. I've tasted it before. It tastes kind of like roses to me. So again, this stunning flower is Epiphyllum HOOKER'S. We'll talk more about it at daylight. All right. Okay, so it's a little after 7 a.m. and you can see the Hooker's orchid cactus is still in bloom. Now this is named after botanist Sir William Hooker, and it's related to dragon fruit. This plant, or Pilosocereus I should say, this plant, the flower, is about 8 inches in diameter and 9 inches in length. Now if you're wondering why I used dragon fruit pollen on this plant, just remember that Edgar Valdivia created his Asunta. He got a purple flower because he cross-pollinated a dragon fruit, a Pilosocereus, with an epiphyllum. So I want to see if the pollen works the other way around. So anyways, this plant is native to Mexico and into Central America and Venezuela, and it's known for this really kind of long, flat, strappy foliage. Now it's kind of reddish to green. So if you give it too much sun, that branch is going to be really, really red, and you don't want that. In fact, these epiphyllum are very similar to Pilosocereus or dragon fruit. As you can see, there are some three-sided. Now, I was told I should never grow them together in pots, so that's exactly what I'm doing. I want to see what happens. I heard that they can like inherit each other's traits, but I'm not sure. So, such a stunning flower. It's really, really beautiful, and they're very short-lived. This is going to close up very soon. This plant is hardy from zone 9B to 11, and it's pretty much dormant below 50 degrees, and it needs above 60 degrees to grow. So it will get heavy in time too. I'd like to add that. And so be careful that it may tip your pot. So these varieties do get quite large in time. All right, good evening. It's been about 2 months now since I cross-pollinated this Selenicereus validus. I think the world's smallest fruit is ready. It's really loose, so let's go ahead and pop it off and see what happens. Now it's very spiny. Ow. You can already feel the spines. Ow. But here it is. Look at that little guy. So it definitely needs to be brushed off, so let me brush off those spines. So here it is. I'm just going to use a little wire brush. Oh. Like I said, it's very spiny, so be careful. I'm getting penetrated with these thick nitrile gloves. So I definitely would probably use rubber or leather gloves next time. I need to be careful because it's starting to peel off the flesh. And the whole goal is that, 1, I taste this little fruit, and 2, I want to grow some of the seeds because I cross-pollinated this Selenicereus validus here, which is this guy, with some Princess of the Night pollen. So definitely smells like dragon fruit. You know, when you cut dragon fruit, you can smell that distinct smell. It's definitely in the air. So let's cut open this tiny fruit. It should be up to 1/4 pound in white flesh. You can see this is tiny. So I'm not even going to Brix it. I just want to taste it because it's just not a good representation of the fruit yet. It's very small. I mean, it did come from this tiny little cutting here. So you can see this plant is doing well though. It's thriving. All right, let's cut it open and give it a taste. Okay, here we go. Look at that tiny thing. Selenicereus validus. Now it looks like it's kind of maybe overripe, or it could have just gotten too hot in the greenhouse. But let's taste it. Ooh, that's gross. Tastes a little bit like dragon fruit, but it's got a slimier texture, probably because of the overripeness. Ugh. Just no sugar, no sweetness. But I have these beautiful seeds, so I'm gonna sprout them and see what happens. So there you go. That is what the fruit looks like on the Selenicereus validus, and I would not recommend tasting it. It tastes very, very bland. Very low sweetness. Very bland. The seeds are crunchy though. All right, let me go sprout these guys and I'll show you what happens in the future. What a beautiful flower. This is the princess of the night, or Selenicereus petranthus. Now, it's native to Mexico, I believe, and the flower is stunning. So I'm gonna harvest some pollen here. And I'm gonna try to hand pollinate it. Now this variety is self-sterile, and I don't have another pollen source handy right now, but I am gonna collect pollen because I have another Selenicereus that will bloom pretty soon. So this flower is absolutely gorgeous. It's about 8 inches in diameter, and these front little bracts, or petals I guess you call them, are white and kind of yellowish gold. And then in the back are beautiful red petals. Wow, it's very stunning, and it smells like a spicy vanilla. That's the best way I could describe it. I really think it's one of the best smelling night blooming flowers I've smelled yet. So again, this is a self-sterile plant, so I just wanted to check that. And I collected a nice amount of pollen. And let's get a better look at this plant at first light tomorrow morning. Wow, the princess of the night did not stick around. You could see the flower was closed off at dawn this morning, and you can see it's much less red than it was as well. It's losing its color, it's fading. Now, if this plant sets fruit, which it shouldn't because I'm pretty much sure it's needs a cross-pollination source, it would produce a beautiful little fruit here that would be pink, and you could remove the spines easily from it by brushing them off, but it wouldn't taste very good. Now, this grows 4 or 6-sided, and it's native to Mexico and throughout the Caribbean. Now, I wanted to use this as a pollen source because there's been some very interesting dragon fruit hybrids like cotton candy that use Selenicereus as a pollen source. In addition, this is related to Selenicereus megalanthus, which is the yellow-skinned dragon fruit, which many of us love, yellow pelora, columbiana, and more. And in addition, these share the similar DNA to Selenicereus. This is yellow cross 68, and this is yellow tie. And my point is I wanted you to know that all of these were hard for me to root, and I needed the temperatures to be warmer consistently for them to root. So just be aware of that, and do not overwater them. If it's cold especially. So it was the hardest 3 cuttings I had, or some of the hardest ones to root in my experience. So just wanted to let you know about that and to be aware of that. So give us a like and a subscribe, and have yourself a wonderful day. Good morning, this is Paul, and look at how spiky that cutting is. Now this is not dragon fruit, but it's in the similar family. It's in the HARRISIA family, and I believe that this is the strangler prickly apple. I'm not sure, but they call that one a HARRISIA balancea. So here's the fruit. You can see similar to dragon fruit, and I'm really excited to try one of these for the first time. I know that HARRISIAs maybe described as more bland, I guess you could say. But very crunchy seeds. So let's cut it open and see what we're dealing with. So there it is. It's a very beautiful white fleshed fruit, slightly translucent or opaque, especially up here. Maybe that's where the sun was probably hitting it. That's what I'd guess. So it's looking better down here. So, wow. The texture feels very similar to dragon fruit. So let's see what it tastes like. All right. Now it feels crunchier, more like an apple. I can already tell you that. I think like just the texture is a bit more apple-like, or pear, like unripe pear. Wow. That's actually really, really good. I like it. Much better than I expected or was preparing myself for. The seeds are really, really crunchy. And you get a little bit of a grainy texture, but the seeds aren't earthy at all. I know this sounds really weird, but growing up we had horses. And sometimes I would eat some of the, like I think my mom gave them chia seeds or something. And I would eat some of those seeds in it. These remind me of that. So sort of a horse grade chia seed. Strange as that sounds, but in a good way. I actually really like this. You can see I'm gonna keep going for it. Crunchy seeds, that is awesome. All right, let's see how the brick score is. I'm gonna assume it's gonna be the same for dragon fruit. It's gonna be sweetest towards the middle, because that's what it tasted like. And there's a higher ratio of seeds you can see. But the seeds are what are the enjoyable part to me. Man, I have 2 varieties of HARRISIA. So I'm excited to see what they taste like, what the other one tastes like. And then I'm also wondering if some of these, the pollen will cross-pollinate dragon fruit. So I'm very interested to explore that in the future. But I really like these. I would probably give that fruit like a 7, 8 out of 10. Just is a little bit bland, but I really, really enjoyed it. And the bricks is just under 15. So you can see there's definitely a lot lower sugar content, but chilled, you can see I just keep going back for it. I really enjoy this. There's a little bit of a slime texture too. Watch this, see? It's a little bit different than dragon fruit. You don't really get that on dragon fruit. But it's not slimy at all. Wow. HARRISIA. Who would have thought? Give one of these fruits a try. I bet a lot of them just fall around in the garden of the collectors. Really excellent fruit. All right, give us a like and a subscribe. And thanks for watching. You can see that's gonna be a very spiny plant to deal with. Good morning, everybody. This is Paul, and today I'm excited to have my first apple cactus fruit. So this is similar to a Peruvian apple cactus, but you can see the plant, it's a bit spinier than a true Peruvian apple cactus. They usually have much less thorns. So this is a different night blooming Cereus, or a hybrid, maybe Cereus pandus, but either way the fruits are all pretty similar in taste and texture. Now the color is really beautiful. They started out purple and now they're this beautiful kind of crimson red, reddish orange, I would say. So once they split, they're definitely ripe. And remember, these are cross-pollinated with Selenicereus pollen. So I'm really excited to see, 1, what they taste like, 2, to grow some of the seeds and see what happens. So there you go. I'm gonna eat this one. I'm gonna go put it in the fridge for a few hours and let's go taste test it and bricks it. See how it does. Okay, so this is where I've learned that I need to upgrade and get a digital sugar content reader, a Brix meter. This Brix refractometer does not function with this type of fruit. I cannot get a reading using any of the juices from it. So as you can see, I've eaten half of it and did a review on it, but I'm gonna redo this now without the bricks getting in the way of the episode. So I do want to save several of these seeds, and I just want to sprout them to see what it looks like, what the plant will produce when it's hybridized with a Selenicereus pollen. So often this fruit is described as shaved ice texture and mildly sweet. Now the texture is not like dragon fruit. It's a bit mushier, but this is pretty sweet. I would give it, I'd estimate it maybe like a 12 to a 14, but I wouldn't really call it shaved ice. To me, it's more of a mushy texture. Actually, I like the flavor a lot, but I don't like the texture. That's what's kind of getting me. And now, I'm not a fan of eating things that ants have been involved in, so I don't really want to do this, but I will for you guys. So let me try this larger fruit with a different Selenicereus pollen source, and I want to see how does it taste. Oh man, hope there's no ants in there. Extra protein. Actually, it's a bit more bland. This one was a better fruit. And it does give me that aftertaste like a sugar dragon in a bit, or maybe a Trisha, which I find very interesting. The aftertaste is not as clean as some of the other dragon fruits I've had. So wow, very interesting. I, again, care more about the seeds here. And you can see I kind of don't have too many seeds of this one because I enjoyed eating it so much, but not bad at all. I would give it maybe a 6 to a 7 out of 10. I prefer dragon fruit, mainly because of the flavor wasn't what didn't hit the home run for me. It was more of the texture. It was hard to get over that texture. It's just much more kind of mushy than, in my opinion, shaved ice. Maybe it kind of is reminiscent of like a fig. Kind of feels like a fig texture, if that makes sense. All right, so there you go. Give us a like and a subscribe, and have yourself a wonderful day. Good morning, this is Paul, and thanks for checking out this stunning Pilosocereus Leucocephalus, also known as Pilosocereus palmerii, or the woolly torch cactus, or I've seen it called the old man cactus of Mexico too. Now it's actually native to not just Mexico, but Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. That's probably why it has so many different names, due to the wide distribution. Now you can see I just planted it into my native soil here in Southern California, zone 9B, and I amended it with quite a bit of palm and cactus mix, which is some high quality brand I can't remember offhand. But that's gonna help this plant thrive in a full sun climate, and it's hardy down to about 25 degrees, so it's going to do great in our yard, which rarely gets into the 30s. But you can see what it's really known for is that it has this beautiful kind of hair or fur or wool, I guess you want to call it. I think the proper name is wool, and you can see that as it ages, it will develop more and more in the branches, and it will grow thick wool in time. Now there are spines. Let's see if we can find some. I really love the blue color. Look at this. It's just such an amazing color of cactus. It's utterly stunning in real life. And I hope it shows how beautiful the color is on film as well, and on video. It does have some spines. You can see them like over here. They're very fine. See if I can move the hair for you. Well, they're there. Let's see if I can get it on. See it? And so they will start out a beautiful color, kind of brownish yellow, but in time they'll turn gray. So I really like this cactus. It's about 3 feet. Beautiful variety, and it was a gift from a fan of our channel that had a huge one. And so he had rooted this, and he was kind enough to give it to me. So I'm really grateful. So I can't wait for this thing to get bigger, and I just can't wait to enjoy it. It's just such a stunning variety of cactus. Okay, there it is, the Pilosocereus Leucocephalus, or Pilosocereus Emoryi. Really beautiful cactus. It's a beautiful morning here, and thanks for checking out my Pilosocereus Azureus, which is also known as a blue torch cactus or blue boy or woolly blue spirals. Now, it's a unique columnar cactus that is native to Brazil and South America. You can see I actually just got a cutting from my friend that he had rooted, and now I placed it in native soil here in Southern California, San Diego, Zone 9B. So I amended the native soil with some palm and cactus mix, and this thing's just gonna take off. It's really beautiful. It will grow 9 feet tall. It's hardy down to about 20 degrees and likes well-draining soil, and you can water it infrequently once it's established. So it is a drought-tolerant variety of cactus. Now, it does tolerate full sun in San Diego, so it is a sun-loving variety. And it can be grown in a pot, although I think it's gonna outgrow it rather quickly. But I do see people grow them indoors and in pots. You can see I'm gonna keep this thing outdoors and see what happens and let it grow in its full glory. So it's a really beautiful, attractive looking cactus. You can see the colors. Let me try to get a little bit more in the sun. There we go. And the spines are just beautiful and kind of golden in color too. Which are just amazing. See them there? It is rather spiny. And it will produce 1.5 inch kind of white flowers with magenta colored leaves, which are very beautiful. It's a wonderful specimen plant in my opinion. Pretty rare, hard to find, and expensive. So there you go. Pilosocereus Azureus. It's a beautiful, beautiful cactus. I'm excited to let this thing get huge and grow. Check this out. My Pilosocereus Azureus is in bloom. So it's a really stunning cactus native to South America and Brazil with a nice bluish tint. And these flowers are actually diurnal, so they'll bloom in the day. So really stunning. They only open up about 1 inch, as you can see. And they do have that beautiful magenta color on the outside and white on the inside. So I wonder if these are gonna cross-pollinate with dragon fruit. I'm gonna actually collect some of the pollen here on these blooms here that are gonna open up in a bit. And I'll store it. I'll show you how I do that. And then I wanna try this a couple varieties of dragon fruit this season, because it would be cool to create a diurnal flower for dragon fruit. And as you can see, these plants do produce a fruit that looks similar to a pitaya or dragon fruit, but it is a bit different. So it is quite possible that this pollen could work on certain varieties of dragon fruit, maybe Hylocereus ocamponus, but we'll see. Time will tell. I also don't know if this fruit is edible on this plant. I would assume it is, and I don't know how it tastes. But it is a beautiful color from what you can see online. So time will tell. I'm really excited to see what becomes of this plant. And it will grow up to 9 feet, and it is a really tall columnar cactus. So there it is. Some people call it the blue boy, but it is Pilosocereus Azureus. And it's got that most stunning, beautiful little flower here. Check it out one more time. Okay. Thanks for watching. Give us a like and a subscribe, and have yourself a wonderful, wonderful day. All right, take care.